All right, Kevin Acee in his Padres daily newsletter this morning, he had some quotes from Manny Machado, again about the hustle topic. Obviously, yesterday, he ends up running down the line on what ended up being a pretty crucial base runner because then Higgy drives all three of those runs in, and the Padres, they open up more of a lead. It's more comfortable, and then they were able to get that win, avoid being swept both series on that road trip. Obviously, that Friday Mets game, Manny was caught not hustling down the line, and that created a lot of conversation. And since then, there's been a lot of quotes from Manny, a lot of questions being asked about his hustle, and that's brought up again. And when he was, again, like I said the other day, I think him playing in New York, I think amplified it. More people were paying attention who didn't know the full story of Manny this year. But, that same narrative, the Johnny Hustle comment, right? That always is going to come back around to Manny, whether he likes it or not. But here's just some more quotes from Manny. And I posted this on social media. It's gotten some reaction. And I did want to provide more quotes like around what Manny said here, if that helps you guys form more of an opinion. It's in, again, Padres Daily. Kevin Acee does a great job. Machado said earlier this week, I'm reading from Kevin here, that it's not my problem what they think when asked about the perception of how he sometimes looks on the field, but it's not as if he has never thought about it. Look, he said Tuesday, I'm lucky enough that the camera is always on me, right? Why? Because I'm a pretty good baseball player, right? And I'm blessed that I had the opportunity to impact so many different people in watching me. But then that's the curse because now everything is on that. But trust me, and this is the main quote here. There's a bunch of times I've seen people with me playing third base and there is a ground ball hit and I'm watching them and they don't even get halfway down the line and they effing walk back to the dugout. I've seen them on with my own effing eyes, and where's that on TV or social media? And he makes a point there. Like, I totally agree with Manny's point here about, well, yeah, why aren't other guys criticized like I am? There's guys that don't run out every ball. Where's that on TV and social media? It might be on social media, by the way, but we're Padres fans. So we care about Padres players. And Manny's the one that has the $350 million contract. He's the one that's not performing good enough offensively this year. And I know he's dealing with things. And I talked about that yesterday on the show, but it's a results-based business. He's out there. So we're going to criticize when he's not playing well enough to help this team win enough games. And obviously he's not doing that. And so, like, again, it goes back to, we watch the Padres and the stuff that has happened in the past with Manny, some of his past comments, and he does come off sometimes as he's a casual player. Sometimes some things he makes look really easy because of how talented he is, but also his style, it does look like, man, sometimes the full effort isn't there, but he's also a really good player. So the effort comes with all the work that he does before the games and all the years that he's done doing this. Now, when it comes back to the hustling stuff, I still, again, Friday against the Mets, that was totally fine for us to be pissed off about that. It's a one-run game. It's a ball down the line. It's not hit hard. I'm not asking him to sprint when he smacks a ball to second base on a one hop and the second baseman fields it and he's not halfway down the line. I'm not saying he has to sprint there. I'm not saying he even has to run hard there. He can jog and not make it to first base there. I'm not going to get mad at that. I totally understand that. And I think that's what he's talking about, where there's a ground ball hit and like an actual ground ball, not a ball that's like topped and it's barely getting to the third baseman. The third baseman has to run in on the ball. That's what Manny did on Friday. And that's what he did yesterday. And he beat that out. So, like, he can do it and he chose not to on Friday. When I think it was a one-run game. Could be wrong, but I think it was a one-run game in that situation, and that could have been a big base runner in that game. And so that's why we got mad. But again, I'm not saying he has to sprint down the line when he hits a ball hard at someone, even on a normal ground ball. But it's on those where if you sprint, you could beat this. And again, he proved it yesterday by doing that. Bohm did not make an error on that play. He didn't bobble it. He fielded it, threw it, and Manny still beat it. So that's where we get mad at. But his point here about where's that on TV, social media, other guys that don't get halfway down the line and they effing walk back to the dugout. He's seen it with his own eyes. Yeah, I've seen it too. And I've seen it with other Padres players where maybe they do, but maybe they don't, stop halfway down the line and then come back. Regardless, if they're out, whatever. It's For me, it's the situation. Is that ball worth running harder for? And I think sometimes it is, and Manny sometimes doesn't do it. And that's where I get frustrated. That's all. I feel like I'm one of the defenders of Manny. And is Manny being targeted? I think by non-Padres fans, he might be targeted if they don't know the whole story, if they're not watching Manny every day and they just want to say, "Oh, yep, they're same old Manny." I think Padres fans, and Manny said this, I think, in the Philly series, people that watch every day can have an opinion. It's those that don't watch every day and they don't have the full context. And that, if I was in Manny's shoes, that would frustrate me as well. Um, but yeah, something else that was in, before I get to the something else. So, is Manny being targeted? I think by Padres fans, I think that it's like a family member. We want this team to do so well. We care so much about this team. He's making a bunch of money and he's not living up to that right now. He did not perform up to the level of expectation last year either. Last year, most disappointing season in franchise history. This year, so far, I mean, right now, I know it doesn't matter, but like right now, they're not in a playoff spot right now. So it's just a lot of frustration from Padres fans. And so I think if anyone's targeting Manny, it's probably those that are just Manny haters. I don't know, and maybe there are some Padres fans that are targeting Manny because I have seen some stuff on social media where it's over the line. It's like, okay, let's stop. Think about what you're saying here. But I can only speak for myself. I'm not targeting Manny. What I'm doing is, hey, Manny, he is the captain of this team. He is the big dog in that clubhouse. And he even was talking about it last year when, Kevin had that story about him. And he's like, yeah, that's fair to say that I'm like the big influence in this clubhouse. He knows it. And with that comes big responsibility. And the whole leading by example thing, right? And I've said this multiple times this season too, he leads by example. He may not have the best quotes. Now, he is honest. And so I do like that about him. Some fans may not like some of the quotes that he says. But the whole thing about Manny and why he's a leader is the leading by example, him posting every day. But also, how do you lead by example? By running out a ball that deserves you running hard for, if that makes sense. Like the right situation. Again, if it's hit hard, it's a ground ball hit hard at second base. I'm not expecting Manny to go sprinting down the line. You know? Remember Adam Rosales, how he'd sprint even for like home runs that he hit every once in a while? I'm not saying Manny has to do that running down the first baseline on a ball that's hit right at someone. But I'm saying those balls that you top and it's a dribbler to third base and you could go get an extra base runner for your team, you didn't put a good swing on it or you didn't barrel up the ball. How about you go run a little bit harder? And I thought that's what he could have done on Friday. That's all. But you've seen Manny Machado quotes this week, and I've talked about him, and I love that he is pissed off and he is frustrated about how he is not performing the way that we want him to perform, the way that he wants himself to perform. He wants to win. I don't doubt that. So those that question that, that's why I have a problem. But there was something that also was put here in this article from Kevin Acee that I think got some reaction on social media today. And I believe I put this quote out as well. Here it is. So Machado's effort level, this is Kevin Acee writing, on some runs to first base has been an easy target for years, and it is not just fans and media who take issue with what they perceive as a lack of effort. Some people in the organization don't like that aspect of Machado's game. Others adamantly defend him. And I think some people have the problem of anyone that's adamantly defending Manny and his lack of effort should be like gone from the organization. I saw some people saying that. And they really don't like that. That why are people adamantly defending Manny's perceived lack of effort? I hope those that are defending Manny, they're defending he's posting every day. When he needs to run something out, he's trying to beat out a double play like in Anaheim, he runs it out. When he could go get a double, he runs it out. Certain situations, he does run. But if they're going to defend what happened on Friday, yeah, I'm going to disagree with that. That's a problem. I'm sorry, you shouldn't be defending that. Defend other stuff about Manny? Oh, totally understand. And I defend Manny in some aspects as well about some topics that get brought up. So that's the only other thing that I really wanted to bring up here. But yeah, your thoughts in the comments. More comments from Manny about his perceived lack of hustle